And I just want to share one little anecdote. In Tavshin Nun Gimel, I was zeicher to be a shliach that ever sent a kvutza of Bochrim, the first kvutza to Kfar Chabad, Shlav Beis. Second, now the shlichus continues. And at that time, the Mendel Futterfass was in Kfar Chabad. And a few weeks before we went on shlichus Sivan, Chai Sivan, Tavshin Nun Gimel. And a few weeks before we went back to Eretz Yisrael, Shabbos by the table, Zayda was singing in Ligan. And I saw that he was very Yossi, and it was something that it was different, that I never saw in the past. And some of you know the Nigan. I think the Nigan is the Nigan of Zalman Zlatopolsky. And he was saying some words in Russian in the Nigan. Yeah, those that heard the Nigan, Vanya Neshali, Vanya Negrishi, that Nigan. And he was singing with a lot of emotion. And I asked him, what's the Maisa with the Nigan? Which I don't think in all the years that I was there that it ever happened such a thing. And he told me, no, it was foreign in Eretz Yisrael. The Zener Mendel was to threaten by him. You'll ask him about the name. I forgot about the whole thing. We went on shlichus, we came to Kfar Chabad, some time went by, and one Shabbos, maybe we were there already for a few months. One Shabbos, we're sitting by a Fabrengen with the Mendel, and suddenly they started singing this nigun. And I realized that he's mitamo, it all came together. I see that he's at this very serious. So we were sitting at the Fabrengen, and I asked Mendel, was ist die Meise mit den Nigen? Mein Seder mir gesagt, ich soll fragen, was ist die Meise mit den Nigen? So he said to me, no, you'll come to my house, and I'll tell you, you'll come to me, die Woche danach, and I'll tell you. So later that week, one night after night Seder, me and a friend, we went to his house, and Mendel was sitting, and before he told her, he said, yeah, was to Gelern time, and what this and what that. And then he said, look, I'll tell you the Maisa with this nigun. So given I eat a chassid who suffered a lot. He was a Baal Yisurin, a Beigestanden mit dem Nigun. So that was the Maisa, and I realized that if Zayda would have just told me the story, it wouldn't have had the same effect. And that connection brought about that from that point and on, for many, many weeks, my friends and I would go to Rabbi Mendel's house very often at night after Seder, and he would say Tanya Balpeh, and he would speak to us about the importance of learning. And we developed a kesher, and it all started from that story. So it was an incredible chap of how to make a connection that the whole shlichus in Kfar Chabad took on a whole different form, had a whole different hashpah from that story. So that's just as a little hakdama, and we're going to begin with a siyum, and we're going to ask Uncle Shimon to come up and make the siyum on Mishnayos.
On Mochkin, Mishnayos. Basically, Levi, my brother Levi was watching now. So I guess we can start. Levi's wanted to make the same because he left the whole Mishnayos. He did some traveling, he had some time. And I didn't do some traveling in the house, I had some time, and I remembered half of it. So I'm going to make a siyum on Mochkin. And since you have to repeat it 3 times, I'm not going to bother to mention all the other sections, but we're going to have it in mind. Hadna Allah Musafas, Uksin, Hadna Allah Datach Allah Musafas, Uksin, then Allah Allah Nicht nachstehen, noch bis er so sehen. Und dann nicht nachstehen, noch. Ah, yeah, I'm sorry. Good way. Mr. Good way. Aber ich habe gedacht, was er kurz bei der Hand geholt hat, die Zeit schon schnell da so Elul, never. Mangel yes, wird es sehr mal. Aber dann schon mal da. Wenn man das kurz viel mal zu berechnen, die soll er schon schnell an neue Zeit an der Box an soll. Hat aber gesagt, so sie hat aber da gelaufen, gesagt, es ist auch zu. Da gelaufen ist nachstehen, noch zu sagen, so sind. Da ist nachstehen, dann dort am dem am da sei. Had nog een zeggen zoeken, hadden nog dat ik al nog zeggen zoeken. Dat we daar zag, we daar zei, alon, loon is naast twee, we nog een zeggen zoeken. Loon is naast twee, loon, we allemaal hadden, we allemaal daar zijn. Hadden nog een zeggen zoeken, hadden nog dat ik al nog een zeggen zoeken. Dat we daar zei, alon, loon is naast twee, nog een zeggen zoeken. Loon is naast twee, loon, we allemaal hadden, loon we daar zijn. Gaat het, ja? Aber Anna schon das auch gesagt, ist noch nicht, wenn ich schon am Kopf mal zu verwerten. Iskada schnell da. Ja, mal probieren, damit probieren, was wir können für mich können. Alles schon. Wegen kann doch nicht so was da können wir noch nicht. Die ist mir da, aber mein Vater sagt, ich wollte sagen, dass das nicht so los mit dem Job mit Leib und kommen raus und sie raus und dann was damit noch. Amen. Heist mir da so. Ich soll aber noch damit dem auch damit das an dem kommen los, wenn ich so was in der sagen. Der Heil man schon mal aber viele Begriffe da mit und der Bischof kann schreiben in Amen. Heist mir da ich schreibe kann der noch so. Amen. Heist schon mal ja schon mal was so.
Without any further ado, I'd like to call my father to come say a few words.
You can say more than a few words. Sit next to Mendy.
Shloshim, Shem Tov, aber so kommen wir heim auf Maschke, aber so kommen wir heim auf Wein. Wein der Bachos schwer trinken. So der Shem Tov war sehr interessant. Shem Tov so, dass ein Mensch geht weg von der Welt. Da sagt mal, es wird dort trachten, öfter hat man nicht getan genug, öfter hat man gedacht, wir nehmen einen besseren Doktor, öfter hat man gedacht, gehen in dem Spital, in jedem Spital, öfter hat man nicht genommen, ich kenne sehr gut, alle Monate sagt man schon was. So, weil Shem der Fall macht man eine Woche, Shahakel nie mit Woche, alles kommt von dem Ebersten. Vor der Tor, neben der Heulung, Shahakel nie mit Woche. Chaim. Alles kommt von dem Ebersten. Steht doch, am Besser ist nicht, dass ich drin zu reden, sie gingen zu schweigen und zu reden. Schlimmer Mendel sagt doch, ist ein Dabbe, ist Lachsches von der Dabbe, und man darf man reden, und schweigen. Sagt nicht, wenn man darf reden, wenn man darf schweigen. Es ist dann auch Zeit, dass man darf reden. Und ein Banach, das ist ja Sache, wenn man darf reden. Was zu reden auf der Tag. Und dort steht in Garelik steht, Eis Spät. Wahrscheinlich, aber was steht Eis Spät, und steht nicht Eis Lispät. Und da steht, also wie steht Eis Ledabe, Eis Lael. Lachsche Spieler da, auch steht mit der Lame. Das kommt zu spät. Wie steht nicht es Lispe? Steht es spät. Was meint es spät? Es spät meint. Alle voran hat dann im Fall, was man darf doch nicht sagen. Es sagt sich allein. Darf nicht erzählen wegen den Menschen, weil jeder immer Kirche kann minen. Ich glaube, was für Machade sein, hat besorgt neue Sachen. Du weißt, am Gitter sagt der Leibel Mochkin, weiß man auch, was schon mehr nicht sagt. Jeder hat der Meister, der erzählt etwas. Man geht gar nicht Machade sein, das neue Sachen, was und wenn. Was ich will auch sagen, ist noch, da kommen mehrere Sachen, alle wissen, das ist das Nefesh, nicht in Theorie. Viel Mama ist ein bisschen Nefesh gewesen, in Russland, da und dort, das verschiedene Jahre, verschiedene Sekuren, was jeder eine hat als die meiste. Was ist der Mochkin, was ist die Siebe, was wir können auch lernen von dem. Was ist der Limut, was wir kennen an Russland, die meiste, die Kinder, die Einiglach, ein Limutskuss. Wir kennen es an Russland und sagt, das sind nicht Scheiches. Nicht ein paar Schatten nicht als solche Menschen, nicht das Sache. Aber etwas sage ich, was man gerne wusste mit davon. Alltag noch verbinden mit Teile, Alltag verbinden mit der Parsche. Es ist alles selten, wenn der Chumisch von geworfen, die Tillim und die Schienen Rambam, alle in Jönim selten noch der Psaremes. Moschel in einige Parsche, die Parsche Gesetze steht, und Boxer ist wir, was immer Jerach Yomisch. Da redet sich ein Shloshim. Als Shloshim in der Rief im Leib. Da steht schon ist wie Arizal. Also Boxer ist wie man was immer, geht das auf keine Schelle. Nicht steht ist wie Arizal. Ich sehe das. Der Boxer ist wie, redet wegen Shloshim. Jetzt redet mich noch Boxer ist wie. In einige Parsche, in einige Chumisch, in einige Tag steht, hier bin ich, der Rebbe von Rassam oder Monodos. Hier bin ich, kein Mishpat Mobes, beumaz betolisse Reise Aloeitz. Die Yehuda, aber Schaz der Arizal, hat gemacht der Espet auf Ramak, hat gesagt, als hier bin ich, kein Mishpat Mobes, amor der Mensch geht am Weg, und wir wissen nicht, von was ist am Weg. Was ist der Mensch, das ist getan, als solche Unionen, der Terz ist, betolisse Reise Aloeitz. Darf das Fehler sein, in Chet Eitz Adas. Da kein Siebel nicht da. Als Siebel ist gewähnt, nach Chet Eitz Adas, der Mehler der Rebischter Geser gewähnt Misse, der Vatersgeschäft, da war schuldig dem Chet Eitz Adas. Das ist der Schir von Chumisch von Eidgen da. Am Gita guckt die Schir Rambam. Die Schir Rambam, was wir lernen, die Tag, lernt ein Heim. Was lernt ein Heim? Wir lernen Mille. Was ist das Mille? Mille aus Steves, Yehuda Leib Mochkin. Und der Leib geht auf den Ebischen. Mille ist Mille. Der Schir Tanje von Eidgen da, wir müssen lernen, wissen, dort steht der Schir Tanje. Zum Stoff steht, und steht, Lissagea, Lirne, Jese Mirgelusse, und mit der Gerbungsdocke, melfen die Regierles, mehr was wir haben. Das hat du auf schwer, vergeben, was hat, ja, und was hat nicht. Mehr was hat. Wie viele Menschen da was gibt, so Menschen, was gibt nicht, was haben, machen nicht. Sehen Sie, wenn am meisten erzählt, haben Sie erzählt, dass ich in London, ich war ein größer gesehen, in Gerstenberger. Und Gerber. Das einmal gekommen zu einem Breiterstände, und der Gebet soll gerne ins Docke. Hat er gefragt, wie viel willst du? Hat er gesagt, wie viel ich kenne. Ich sagte, wie viel ich kenne, gebe ich keinen nicht. Wie viel ich kenne. Das ist doch ein Mensch, was mir gibt. Da steht ein Geschirr Tanje, ich soll geben, mehr Gelust, ja viel mehr Probleme. Wir geben mehr, was hier wird nicht gegeben. Ich bin gerät zu geben, jeder mal untrachten, ohne Cheshbeines. Das ist die Schir Tanje von einem Tag. Und der Schir Tiling von einem Tag gesagt, mit Kol Levi, mit Kol Zoresa steht die Zilonu von allen Zorros, von allen Problemen, wo der Heimisch der Matzel gewinnt, in geraten wird von allen schweren Matzovim. Kumme, Tiling, Tanje, Rambam, alles stimmt und alles bleibt. Und noch eine Sache geworden. Jede Sache doch, worum es in Teile, klar. Also doch, worum es in Teile, das gefunden. An der Rebbe von Pezina Meisse mit dem Avner, der Talmud von dem Ramban, das hat ganz Sofen, wo gefühlt das im Teile, aber du gewusst, in Parshas Hasinu steht sein Name, jede Sache voran im Teile. Nicht alle kennen das sein Klo. Shimon gemacht, dass sie im Schnee ist da. Ich wollte sagen, wie sie, warum es, aber man will wissen, den Sod von der Atzloche, was hat gebracht? Alle wissen, dass doch Chassidus ist für ein Musser. Was ist der Chilik für Chassidus mit Musser? Dem Shulchan Aruch, ob in demselben Shulchan Aruch. Alle im selben Shulchan Aruch, weil der besucht Eizes, wie er sehen, wir kennen keinen im Shulchan Aruch. Die Musser hat sich hier weg. Ich schreibte, es ist Stonk HWK, es ist diejenige Hände mit der Brennen und der Chulwe. Das ist weg, aber der Weg ist, das beit nicht der Menschen. Der Mensch bleibt derselbe kein Mensch, aber dann, was mehr tun er wäre. Chassidus kommt es mit der Adam Alach, mit beiden Menschen im Ganzen, das ist Shimon. Chassidus geht auf die Siebe, was ist die Siebe? Du musst Beine sein und hereintrachten, was sie gewinnt die Siebe, was sie gewinnt der Kea, der Menia, was von der Schwörz hat gebracht und dann als solche Beine genannt, was sie gewinnt die Siebe, hereintrachten. Und von den Onnen Schneis mit den Siyum Schneis. Alle wissen, als von der Meise Amor hat der Rabbi geschickt, der Weiselhommler, hat geschickt zu Sol Huschener. Ist gekommen zu Sol Huschener, Rabbi Sol Huschener, hat gesehen, dass sie gekommen mit zwei Menschen, beten als Komme auf Sforim. Einer gekommen beten als Komme auf der Sefer von Meises, der zweite gekommen beten als Komme auf der Sefer von Chidushi. Und Sol Huschener früher geguckt in Sefer von den Meises, und gehst in dem Shamesh machen als Komme, und danach hat gehst und guckt in dem Sefer von den Chidushi. Und weiß, warum steht, und wundert sich, was sagt. Später, wenn Shabbos Nordem, hat das Ruschener gesagt, dass der Liedfach hat Akasha auf mir da. Der Beisel London gewinnt von Lied, hat Akasha auf mir, von was ich immer als Komme früher auf die Meises. Sagt er, das ist eine alte Kasche, und die Kasche fragt Rashi und Chumesh, aber die Tere Eibzachon mit Reis Bol Kims a Shemaim so, jetzt so mit der Meise, der Tier hat gedacht, und mit der Loches, ach hätte er noch gehabt. Doch das ist der erste Kasche. Ich wollte etwas von der Tier Ebsachon mit der Meise. Hätte er mit der Meise, Reis Bol Kims a Shemaim so. Vielleicht ist wahrscheinlich, kann man nicht so gerne mal sehen. Die Welt fragt, was ist der erste Mischne, wem ist nicht mal bearbeitet? Was ist noch Schaß mit Krishma? Was mit dem Krishma? So antwortet man, weil ein Kind wird bei Mitzwe, der erste Mitzwe, was tut, ist Krishma, hätte man noch Krishma. Aber besser, wir können so einander werden. Es kann sein, als der Chumesh jetzt schon mit der Meise, was wenn es in der Schaß, gedacht, umgeht ohne mit der Meise. Aber der kennt mich schon mit der Meise. Wenn es in der Schaß gibt, schon mit der Meise. Welche Meise? Gleich in der ersten Mische, da Meise, Shibor, Abgamir, wie besser mischt. Noch von dem denkst du, erzählen die Meise, darf doch viel erzählen, als beim Witze von Krishma. Doch bei mir sagt ich nicht mal bei allen. Aber was ich noch die Meise mit Schma, aber kann ich später erzählen die Meise, Shibor, Bonne, wie besser mischt. Frage Rabbi, ist nicht zugepasst, war dem schwer. Wo Bonne, wie besser mischt, da stand die Kuh von der besser mischt. Da alle Kuh von der besser mischt, wo man gesagt hat, hätte man noch mit der besser mischt. Mit was hebt doch ganz Schaß? Ich komme von der besser mischt. Wir gesagt noch rein, mit verbracht. Und wir sind das Sefer steht, aber besser mischt, wie das Leib mit das Kissel go. So denkt es vor. Sie nimmt das Kissel und verbracht. Besser mischt. Das ist der Ohne für Schaß. Wie endigt das Schaß? Shimon gemacht im Siyum da. So endigt das aber Shimon halafte, wenn Mozart und Ishbor und Lia Mars gebrochen, Ella schon. Fragt der Rabbi nach Siche, wo steht im Sazal Loschen, a schwierige Loschen, Leib Mozart und Ishbor und Lia Mars gebrochen, wo steht nicht, klar, Lia Mars, ich hoffe schon, dass Ishbor und Ishbor, wo steht gleich. An den Ebenschens Bruch, a Kela von Ebenschens Bruch, Ishbor, wo da steht, Leib Mozart und Ishbor, Sazal Loschen Schwille. Und der Rabbi, wenn ich doch als in der Redigste, ist doch ein Blickwohl. Aber ein Blickwohl ist doch nicht auf dem Kehle. Ein Kehle legt der eine sich ein Sabus hat ein Wohl. In ein Glas kann man legen Wasser, ledig Glas. Ein größer Glas, mehr Wasser, ein kleinerer Glas, winziger. Aber der Redigste ist Brache, und der Redigste ist Blickwohl, ist doch nicht auf dem Kehle ein Blickwohl. Was ist ja ein Kehle ein Blickwohl? Scholem, was ist Scholem? Scholem meint, als ein Mensch macht Scholem mit der Zweiten, mit der Pschat, als ist ein Vater auf sich und geht und kennt seinen mit dem Zweiten nicht. Legt sich weg in der Seite. Tracht nicht wegen sich. Das habe ich gewollt sagen, wegen dem Fall da. Ich will was Scholem. Einige gewinnt oder der Linie, die Hatzloch sind alle Unionen, wie gewinnt der erste Sache, was nicht getracht wegen sich. Getracht, was bedarf der ich exist nicht. Das habe ich in der Seite im Ganzen. Das ist die erste Sache. Die zweite Sache, was ich gewinnt bei Maike, ihr seht das, die Kinder, man schreibt sehr in den Kude, es war einfach für Rabbi, und der Rabbi für eine Sache mal geben, in einem Zettel. Der Rabbi für schreiben an sie. Kol Techie, das kommt zu gehen zu einem Menschen, der etwas sagt, mit Bett. Moschel einer kennt zu einem Zweiten, und Bett immer alle vorher. Was sagt er? Komm morgen. Und der Rabbi Kol Techie, die Rusche Achscher war dein Leib. Am so kommt morgen, meint es nicht am Morgen wird er geben. Es meint ein sicher nicht. Am Stuttgart Bazar, was meint das? Also sicher nicht. Bei dem schwer, eine von den Unionen, mit November, keine sagt nicht statt, er sagt morgen. Heim. Was man kennt, dann halt tut man nicht morgen. Man legt nicht nach sagt. Menschen gleichen Opfer von Sachen. Menschen gleichen Sachen nach. Aber übermorgen, ein Tag später, ein Tag früher. Wenn nicht gewähnt, er sagt morgen. Hat der Rebbe jemand gegessen, darf schon damit sein. Hat der Rebbe gewollt schicken, Shloshim nach Israel, hat er nicht gedacht, der gleiche eingeschrieben zu brennen, als geht sofort. Weißt du, die geht mit dabei, nicht geht mit dabei. Aber wahr sein, der Tod ist, geht sofort. Kämpft es Barosch, wie soll er sagen. Der Rebbe schreibt einfach vor. Und der Rebbe gesagt, da hier ist gewinnt ständig gerät. Also gewinnt vernommen, mit der gewisse, mit der Bifze, kommt zum Reden, und als Zweiten hat er nicht gesagt, ich vernommen in der Linie, ne? Der gegen Gurary, nicht gewinnt, das gewinnt, klärmaßig braucht nicht Mugel, nicht klar Mugel, ich tue es durch, ich kenne schon die zweite Sache. Ständig gewinnt, gerät für alle Unionen. Hat keiner nicht angestuft, aber eine zweite Sache. Allemal gewinnt, gerät gleich dort. Wenn das ein Limit, das man kann sich lernen, oder, als er sich angenommen dort, zum Kastere, bei Reben zu lernen, gute Teile. Mendy gute Teile, Menschen die Woche. Oder kämen nicht verfasst gute Teile, vielleicht kommen später, vermutete auf einer Sife, die Stadt sagt, wir müssen lernen die Schulen, wir müssen lernen Chitas, wir müssen lernen Rambam, das Gesetz mit dem Alteren, mit der gute Teile gesetzt und gelernt. Das heißt, er wird nicht gesagt, auf lernen, sie zweimal nach drei, was die Stadt sagt, nicht tut, nicht stopp. Was man kennt und heint, tut man nicht morgen. Das machen wir zu meinem Weib. Ihr sagt morgen, sie sagt heim. Weil wir nicht heim davon auf die Sache. Meilus sagt ja, kommt da gelernt sagt, die ganze Linie, was mir kommt zu gegen, wir reden wegen dem, wir ist nicht glatt reden bei Arme, wir reden aber noch ablernen von den meisten Dingen, was getan. Wir fragen die Kinder, was sagen, wenn übergeben sind, Shimon und Mendel, ich schaue nach Reges, und die Rebetzen seine, wenn übergeben sind, wir leben nervisch. Der Wort ist mit dem Mond 4 von Baal Shem Tov, Baal Shem Tov sagt, als was man sagt, in da geht es nicht, dort darf man es nicht bewohnen, weil dort ist gewähnt, der Tachlis, als Schleimus und Tachlis Elul. Weil es als sichere Sache, die Schussin, alle Unionen, was getan bei Sholem, hat er sicher sehr gewähnt mit dem Olem von Schaas, der Besamischte, von Zomel Chaim allemal. Das ist Chaschus. Da sind wir die bewusste Meise. Bewusste Meise mit erzählt, das ist nicht reden wegen Besamischte. An der Meise wird was mit erzählt, als er morgen gewähnt, auf der Mendel Futterfast, Mendel Futterfast, da wird ja eine gewisse Jedidus, großstarke Jedidus zu sagen. Der Bolger Mendel, wenn die Stube ist, wenn eine von den Kindern ist nicht gesund, stark nicht gesund, die Kinder sind nach Hause gegangen, und gemeint, das ist eine schmale Zeit. Und wenn die Chassidim so gewollt hören, was tun sie da, haben sie gehört. Der Mendel sagt, die Rabbinische Lehrer, sei mir, helft mir heraus mit dem Schuss, nicht was ich habe gelernt, das Chassidus, nicht was ich habe gelernt, das Mangel, ich habe einen Schuss, was ich bekäme, ist der Weg in Mitten zu verbringen. Ich bin ständig geblieben bis zum Sof. Käme ich da weg in Mitten. Der Lorden hat gesagt, dass die Werte ist da geholfen geworden und da jeden Tag hat sie gewohnt, da gesund. Das ist Schuss. Also käme ich da weg Da geboren wurde besser nicht, wenn sie kommen. Vertrag ist doch zwischen Regeln voneinander gegangen. Das Schweres käme nicht da weg, nicht nach verbringen, wenn ich gerade sage, da weg mit verbringen. Er ständig werden wir werden verbringen. Das meinte hat gesagt, meinte geht mit da in die Flor, sagt er, ich denke, das schwer, da wollen wir die Flor, und die müssen wenn ich Teves und er besucht zu verbringen, ist nicht gewählt. Ich schleppte bis 3 Jahre und sagen, komm, du musst hier verbringen, es ist Teves sein, kann ich nur gehen erzählen. Verbracht, sagt er, dann besucht er mal Sneaken mit der Weg, sagt er, du kannst nicht vergessen, alle immer sehen. Oh, Bonne, wir besser mischte. Aber der dritte Tag, wenn der Sium ist, wenn Mozart und ich bohre, die am Mars gebrochen, darf Tag auch eine wenigstens Broche und die Ämesse Broche, die Gula mit ist, war schlimmer Broche vom Blickwohl, und mit dem Schusstake, jede von den Schusstake, was er nicht gewähnt, Mugbul mit sich, käme nicht getragen wegen sich. Alle wissen, die Schwede, sie hat der Graf der Russen von Russland, gab Papieren, und er genommen sein Papieren, gab er zweite Menschen, nicht da wegen sich, kommt noch einmal Papieren, weitere gab er zweiten. Da wegen von sich. Sie hat gesehen, ein Mensch im Gast, was geht ohne Essen, und ruhig wird seinem gegeben. Die Stadt, was ich hier davor, jener davor. Der ganze, so mit dem Schustake, mit dem Schussim, das der Rabbi sagt, sie doch am Mut, wir können doch reden eine ganze Nacht, doch sein auch nach Sof, da reden, erzählen, und da was ich für andere, ich ein bisschen erzählen. Aber der Rabbi ist so offen, als er sein, der Rebbe von gesagt, Bacha gibt den Livnei, und Bocha Hashem Dimo, und die Rebbe sind der Lob Marichas Yom schon im Teves, und die Kinder, die ganze Mischproche, und so Lob Nachricht von allem, und so oft darf man wissen, aber man sagt Mochkin, der ganze Yiches, Mochkin ist niedergewendet, der Leibel ist in der Yiches, und da geht der Yiches, die Kinder und die Heiliglassen und wissen im Yiches, und man soll umgehen mit der Stolzkeit, und da lernen sagt von dem Tag, also sein Masara Bachai, Mafu Bachai, mit dem ganzen Stuhl.
Thank you. Just a hemshech to the words of my father. I want to thank Rabbi for all the years until today, Baruch Hashem, that we have the care and the dedication and the help and the Baruchkeit for myself, the Einikel, for the Ureinikla, the Eibushes Alpaka Geben, Brache, Gesund, und Nachlass von allen, die Hinterheten, Freilich Leben. The Rebbe in a Sikha discusses the idea that we have, by Yidden, we have 2 Rosh Hashanahs. We have a Rosh Hashanah l'Chadoshim, and a Rosh Hashanah l'Shonah. So here we are, standing before Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is in Chedesh Tishrei. Chedesh Tishrei is the 7th month. Chedesh Hashvi. And so we have 2 Rosh Hashanahs. Why is it that there are 2 starts of the year? And the Rebbe explains that there are 2 types of, there are 2 mahalchim. There are 2 approaches in life. One approach, I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying it in the Rebbe's Asius. One Indian is that a person enjoys to have a routine, a seder, things that they're familiar with. The dugma, a person likes that at the end of every day, they should come back to the same bed, to the same pillow, to the same home. Not that every night, Novanod is a klola, to be every night in a different place. So in a certain aspect, routine is a good thing. It's something that comforts a person. On the other hand, people also look for novelty. If things are always the same, it gets boring. So there are 2 approaches. On one hand, we like routine, and on the other hand, we enjoy novelty. So the Rebbe explains that the guf, the way we approach the inyone, the tzorchei aguf, should be by building routine, and the way we approach the tzorchei haneshama, aruchnius, should be with the inyan of chidush. And sometimes, for some people, it's the opposite. that when it comes to our Yiddishkeit, there's a routine. There's the minyan every day, the same time, the same shir. It stays static. And in the Inyanim of Gashmias, we look for a novelty, a new place to travel to, a new restaurant, a new recipe, something new, and so on and so forth. But emes, the way it's supposed to be, is that in Yonei HaGuf should be a routine. Like those people who train for marathons or Vesvos, they know that before, that's very important to build a routine for the body. And on the other hand, for the neshama, there should be the inyan of chidush. And one of the things that we see by the Rebbe is that by the Rebbe there was constantly this inyan of the new mitzvah and the new inyan, and there was always something different, always something changing, something going on that was a new inyan. And that generated excitement. And Zayda very much was involved in those inyanim, that as he grew, as he aged together with, the Rebbe's Nesias and the Kehillah and so on and so forth. If you look at the picture on the cover of the booklets that are on the seats tonight of Zayda handing the Rebbe a Sefer HaMa'amorim Melukit, so the whole inyan of Ma'amorim that the Rebbe started to be Magia, that was a new thing that started really in the latest Zman, that the Rebbe was Magia the Ma'amorim. And Zayda right away was excited, got involved, and took it upon himself to print several of the volumes and had this chus to hand them to the Rebbe. And that was part of being involved in what's new and exciting in Inyonei Ruchnius, not in Inyonei Gashmius. So for this is also an inyan of Achayit and Leib for each of us, that we should always look for the inyan of Chidush, an inyan of novelty, in inyanim of Ruchnius, in Yerushalayim, in our Avodas Hashem, that it shouldn't be just the same old, and in Gashmius, we can have a routine, and that's when a person feels the true sense of balance and calm and ruyukai with those approaches. So I'd like to call upon Rabbi Yossi Garelik, who's a mishpacha, and also Sestaplemenik, and also had the opportunity, Zechareichen, so to speak, to spend time and appreciate Zayda's Eifen, like my father was speaking about the Fabrengens. So without any further ado, Rabbi Yossi.
Der Leib sitzt in Garelik und lacht auf mich. Also ich stehe da und ich rede gemein. The joke of the century. Und die Bnei Adam, immer die schönen Bnei Adam sind wie Chamer in Mamish. But whatever. He was a funny man. Weiter Mamish sein. Ich stocken Werte zu magdir sein den Menschen. Also wie der Rede hat gesagt, dass solche Menschen wird beschaffen in 100 Jahren, schon mehr. The man was a legend. He wasn't a regular human being, he was a legend. Oh. Chaim. Ich denke, als Kind, mein Vater hat uns erzählen, meistens von Leibel Mochkin. Und ich habe sie beloschen Arab. Mein Vater hat so gesehen. Sie gewähnt eine Zeit in Russland, wo es ein Flieg hat nicht gekannt, da rausgehen. Und nicht gekannt, da rausfliegen von Russland. Sie gewähnt eine eiserne Grenze, wo es ein Flieg hat nicht gekannt, da rausgehen. Und der junge Bocherl, man hat kam gewesen 18 Jahre alt, ich weiß 28, hat ausgenarrt, Stalin gemacht schon mit der ganzen russischen Regierung, mit der ganzen KGB, gemacht alle Zones von sie alle nach Russ genommen, a Risikeilung für Russland. He used to tell us stories about this Leibel Mochkin. it was like a superhero. It was like very, when I came to America, I wanted to see very, who is it? Very goes. Yeah, who is it? Who is it?
Who you?
Who are you?
Who you?
Sagt die Verbringens, der Mensch, ich gewinne, so gesprotzt Chassidishkeit von dem Wohnen. Ich gesessen verbracht mit ihm, mit dem he was I'll tell you a story actually. I once brought a reporter, an Italian reporter, to interview Peter Leibel. His story, a major life story. So on the way into the house, I tell this reporter, you should know, this man is Russian. When he talks to you, he doesn't want you to understand what he's saying. I warn him. In case this reporter came, und gesessen dort nach Porsche, Rabbi geschrieben die ganze Meise. On his way out, he tells me, a master communicator. Couldn't put together two words straight. Master communicator, he tells me. His eyes, how he moves his hat. Master communicator. Well, ich sitze und verbringe mit dem, ich denke, er hat mir am Moment teilgewinnen, die meisten mit Wanje-Tage. Die meisten mit Wanje. Nicht nur mit Gershomber, Levin, Sonneves Bruder. Aber er hat am Moment teilgewinnen, wir hat verbracht mit Gershomber. Ich habe gemeint, als ich sitze dort in Leibel. Ich sitze neben Mendel mit jener Paltaver. It was unbelievable, unbelievable. That the Leib was the last link to Motteleh Chassidim. That's it, it's finished, it's over. I'm gesessen mit them, you felt connected to Motteleh Chassidim. It was sach meistens to erzählen, very, very funny stories, but it's not fresh fiction. Ich denke, wir sind 25 Jahre zurück, wir sind gleich nach in Kieper, Mochkin in Kieper, und wir haben gesagt, komm vor nicht so. Wir fahren nicht so. Auf morgen, Tag noch in Kieper, sie gewinnen ein Shloshim für Shul bei Frieden, komm vor nicht so. Ich fahre nicht so auf Sukkes, aber ich kann nicht vor morgen. Komm vor morgen, ich kann nicht. Was ist? Ich sage ihm, weil mein Sohn hat geboren worden, Peretz, ich bin ein Baby, ich bin 4 Shloshim alt. Sage ich fahre nach Portugal, ich darf noch machen ein Passport für mein Peretz. Darfst du Passport? Ich will gerne ein Passport. He had a Peretz's passport. Ich will gerne ein Passport. He was still in the business of making passports. Whatever, that's it. The Riker is that ich habe sicher gewähnt, und Baruch Hashem, meine Kinder haben sicher gewähnt, zu reinigen zu verleben, and to touch Ayid was mamish, as I said before, it was a link to previous generations. He gave the Mendel of Mofa Bracht in 77 in the front. I think there's a picture of that. The Mendel Futter was gesessen verbracht. In Leibel Mochkin gesessen von Seite und geguckt auf ihn mit Azar, Rotze. Geguckt auf ihn, ich komme noch mit Ziel, von die Jägereien. Mit gesehen als die Liebschaft, mit der Rotze, wir können das nicht mehr teilen. Impossible to describe. Wie viel mit Schreiben und Überschreiben, it's impossible to describe this legend. Mamish a legend. I just want to say to the family, as it is, it's impossible to write, but man muss das herabschreiben. The story has to be written down. And stand from a historical perspective. The motion, the Holocaust. What is that? Somehow there were people that succeeded in recording that terrible period in history. Yiddishkeit und Chassidim unter Stalin, Mochkin, and Russland, das hat man nicht erwischt. Nobody knows about it. The whole world knows about the Holocaust. Because even, I was talking that one person took one story, let's say Schindler's List, a story of one person, and around them hat erzählt die ganze Geschichte from the Shoah. There's no other person better than Leibel Mochkin. It's a Rabschreiben sein history, his story. The story of being born by the parents in the beginning of communism, in the colonies. When the parents are young, I think it's nefesh, schieten, und sie sind kleine Kinder. Mein Schwer, ich bin für Müller. Mein Schwer geben mir die Chalofin, weil der Parents hat nicht gekannt, hatten die Chalofin, von den Kindern hatten die Chalofin. That's the beginning of communism. Then Vetter Müller, Leningrad, and Blockade, and then the crown jewel of the story, Vetter Leibel, Mendel. That is by far his best moment, and a moment that is I'm going to be able to describe it, but it has to be described. And then it has to continue till then, as I saw in the Gurary, and this till he came back to Russia. Ich bin gewesen in Marina Roche, einmal Erev Shabbos. It was, I think, Beryl Azar Bar Mitzvah, and Fara Kabbalah Shabbos. Leibel Mochkin wieder. Sagt gekommen. Ging von Gush Katif. Wir sind back from Gush Katif. Und wir Marina Roche. So wir fragten, wo steht ihr rein? Welches Hotel? Hotel? Ja, a sleeping bag. Ja, a sleeping bag. Und wir Marina Roche. So wo ist die Schlafen, ne? Mensen, die erste Mal geschlafen Marina Roche. He was used to schlafen Marina Roche. Till the end, till he came back. The story of Leibel Mochkin is the story of Yiddishkeit and Chassidim, Slavische Chassidim movement, unter Stalin, Mochkin, and the story of communism. If this story will be recounted accurately, the world will know was Chassidim, wie Chassidim haben durchgelebt unter Stalin. Nun nur Nissan sagen, der Gott zu gehört von einem Mal, verbracht hat und sagt, Mashiach hat sicher kommen. Mashiach hat sicher kommen. Wann weiß ich? Weil wir sind in Russland, wir haben gewusst, dass Mashiach hat kommen. Aber Russland von Russland, das nicht schade. Und doch Russland von Russland, ich weiß nicht, Mashiach hat sicher.
Thank you very much, Yossi, for the vivid stories and descriptions. I want to take the opportunity to ask, to speak. You know, Zayda was on the spalo for many years, more than 40 years in the Pashtus. I don't know exactly the numbers. In 1966, but the right here in a shul that holds and held Chassidim, a kvutza of Chassidim. What they learned Hamshechen, Chassidus, Shulchan Aruch, and the Devarmen and Yonim, and he always looked for a winkel to daven a little, Zechar daven a bissel. So we have with us the Rav of the Shul, who really, in an incredible way, inspired and held this kvutza of Chassidim together. So without any further ado, I want to ask Rabbi Mangel to share a few words about Zayda.
come in oil, a person passes away from this world. Omar to Shborchu, the Malachim. Hashem says to the Malachim, go down, go and see what the people speak about him. That way to start again. The Chazal tell us when a person passes away from this world, the Shimon says to the angels, the Malachim, go down and see Mahabriyos Omin Molav, what the people speak about him. What the kosher hoyo was a good person. Yerushalayim hoyo was a Yerushalayim. Miyat, the people say yes. Meat the Neshama goes up, the Garelik. What did he mention? The Mochkin come down to Crown Heights. The Mochkin come down to Kfar Chabad. The Mochkin come down to Paris, to London. They start asking the Chassidim, was Leibel Mochkin, or the kosher hoyo, Yerushalayim hoyo. Obviously, 200 people, it Mr. Asnefish Lamal Me'asechel Gurary, were saved by Leibel Mochkin. These Mishpochen in Crown Heights, and Mishpochen in Kfar Chabad, Mishpochen in Paris will say, without Leibel Mochkin, we would be behind the Iron Curtain, by the communists. What will be with us? What will be their children? What will be our grandchildren? Nowadays, not only Biyashem mitzvahs as a result of Leibel Mochkin did, that our children and grandchildren are shluchim all over the world. The Mochkin come to Crown Heights, and we will see a beautiful yeshiva over Torah, thousands of talmidim. And Michal Talkamon wanted to make a yeshiva, a Tarsa Kodesh, without any Motteleh Choyel. Michal Talkamon came to Leibel, what can we do? Leibel says, I'll help you, and just look what developed, what kind of yeshiva became from Motteleh. Yes, David and what's his name? Dutch helped, but who was the foundation? Who started the yeshiva? Leibel Mochkin. When the Rebbe wanted to have a newspaper, a kosher newspaper, when the old Yiddish newspaper went down, and the Rebbe wanted to have a shofar, but the Rebbe should be able to say his views concerning all the Yehuda and so on and so forth. So the Rebbe says, we need a Jewish newspaper. So the Rebbe said this to Jacobson. Jacobson came to Leibel at Kesem Minola. It discussed thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. So Jacobson came to Leibel Mochkin and says, we'll do it. Leibel Mochkin took a partner, Mendel they established. We could go on and on and on. But let me just tell you, two mice, one mice, which I mentioned in Shul, and even Shimon, who knows all the mice of his father, did not know. The tremendous mysterious nefesh, which a Leibel, you see the three articles, I'll speak about it a little bit later. Where did you the three articles about him? The Mendel Futterfass came out eventually from Russia, and they were sitting together, Mendel Futterfass and the Rebbe, and the Leibel Mochkin. So Leibel complained to Mendel Futterfass after all these things which I did. Mr. Nefesh Mamesh, I never get any acknowledgements, any credit for the Rebbe. For years and years, he never. So he complained to Mendel Futterfass. As soon as he said that, immediately the Rebbe turned, they were sitting together, the Rebbe turned to Leibel, Sog L'chaim, Rabbi Akos. So then I said to Leibel, how come until you complained the Rebbe didn't acknowledge you, didn't give any credit? The Chazal tell us, where Rabbi Kiva gave smicha to his great Talmidim, the foremost Talmid was the Rashbi, the Shimon. When he came actually to give the smicha, he didn't give the first one to Rashbi, but he gave it to the mayor. So the Gemara says, Nichmerut Polov, Rashbi, because a person should just also know his own qualities, their own accomplishments. So he felt Maybe I'm just arrogant. I hold myself bigger than that. I see the Leibel doesn't acknowledge me. So the Kiva immediately felt it, knew it, and he says, Rashbi, Daya, it's enough for you, Ali, Nobaracho, Makir, Eskechacho. You have to be a tzaddik nister, not to be acknowledged, and realize it's enough for you. The same thing, Leibel. All this Mr. Snefesh, David says, I know it, but you complain, but me not tell me. I gave it the care. Let me tell another Maisa. I said this Maisa also, I showed you for bringing. Leibel didn't know it, but he connected with the second half of the Maisa. So let me tell you an incredible Maisa. Afterwards, I heard when Leibel went to Australia, himself said over this Maisa, but he himself, the second half, which I didn't know. Shazar, the president of Israel, when in 1948, Tovshin Ches, they came for a vote that the United Nations should acknowledge Israel or not. Israel sent a delegation of the top-notch ministers and so on, Shazar and Goldomei and Sharef, Abba Iban came a few weeks before the vote to agitate that all the governments should also support the establishment of the State of Israel. And they worked and worked and worked. Came the day of the vote. They sat in the General Assembly of the United Nations, and they saw that they don't have nearly the majority for vote, the establishment for Israel. And once voted down, finished, no more Israel. So they responded. Shazar, he comes from his grandfather, was a descendant from his grandfather was a big Yossi. His father also a Yossi. His father went a little bit away. So before he left Russia, he went to say goodbye to his grandfather, a Chosita from Rebbe Marash. So grandfather saw in the achten way the brach that is going away from Yiddishkeit. So Shazar said to his grandfather, to his son, to his grandson, whenever you're in a crisis, you don't know how to make a decision. You're in a dilemma. You don't know what to do. Start singing that Rebbe Sniggen. He wanted to anchor, to hold him into Yiddishkeit. And he says, whenever you don't know what to do, what kind of decision, when you're in a crisis, a dilemma, problem, difficulties, start singing that Rebbe Sniggen. And through this, they will inspire you, give you the proper machshava what you should do. And that's what he did. Eventually went to Berlin and went down for Yiddishkeit. Eventually came to Israel, went even further than for Yiddishkeit, until he became one of the big knackers in Mapai. And he was also in this delegation for the establishment of Israel. Came the afternoon, and they see they don't have anything near a majority, and they voted down. They're sitting in the General Assembly, Mamesh in despair, despondent. So somebody decides, let me sing down Rebbe Sniggen. See what David will tell me, what to do. He tries to say, so he went out in the cafeteria, not from the General Assembly, he goes to the cafeteria, and he tries to sing down Rebbe Sniggen. He couldn't remember the Rebbe Sniggen. By him, he said every day down Rebbe Sniggen. This time he couldn't remember that Rebbe Sniggen. It was one of the secretaries, also for this delegation, also comes from Chabad, also without Rebbe Sniggen. Says, Yoshke, tell me mine without Rebbe Sniggen. Also forgot, both forgot about Rebbe Sniggen. Couldn't understand, they forgot the name. So anyways, couldn't sing without Rebbe Sniggen. They went back into the General Assembly and sits, Mamish Miyuish, it will be voted down. Suddenly a secretary comes over to him, to Shazar, and somebody calls you on the phone. He goes to the phone, outside, and who is on the other line on the phone? The Shak, the Friedrich Rebbe's son-in-law. She says, Rashak says to Shazar, the Shver will wissen, was is the matzav. He wants to know what the situation. I'm going to win or not. She says, to tell the Shver, impossible, on a Rachamim Rabim. The Rebbe should give a bracha Rachamim Rabim, otherwise we don't have anything near a majority. So Rashak says to Shazar, wait on the line, I'm going to speak with my Shver, and I'll let you know what the Shver says. So he comes back on the line of the telephone. He says, the Shver says, oh, Daddy, don't worry. When actually the vote will come, you have more than a majority, much more than a majority, so don't worry. But the Shver wants, after the voting for the state of Israel, and the Shver wants to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, came the vote. Albania, no. Australia, no. Geweest at ons ABC. And came more than half. And then no. But every state had the privilege to take a time out, to consult with the government at home. Came to the Soviet Union, almost bothered with the S. So there was Gromyko, Wyszynski. He says, time out. He wants a half an hour to consult with Stalin in Moscow. Time out. And he comes back. Stalin instructed to vote. Every vote, the communists were always against Israel. Suddenly changed around completely. Stalin instructed all the Soviet countries for Israel. So it wasn't only Soviet countries, but Czechoslovakia, Poland, the UK, we had like 25 countries. When Soviet Union changed, turned around and voted for Israel had more than a majority. So Meir voted for the state of Israel in Tovshin Ches. As the Friedrich Rebbe asked him, please come, and that he wants to see you. So Shazar came to the Rebbe. And he said, the Rebbe, without you, will never be a state of Israel. Listen to I spoke about this last year in Yerushalayim, and the 70th anniversary of the state of Israel, in public. Hundreds of people, thousands of people were there. Anyways, and so he came to the Friedrich Rebbe. He said, the Rebbe, without you, there will never be a state of Israel. What can I do for you? How can I pay you back? So the Rebbe says, I helped you, you helped me. My Hasidim came up on Toshim of 1946, came out from Russia. They are roaming all over Europe. They don't have a place where to settle. Please give them a place in Israel where they should settle. So Shazar said to the Rebbe, I give you the best place in Israel. My mother came to Israel in 1951. Where did she go? To the Mabarot in the Negev. But anyways, Shazar said in 1948, I give the best place in Israel. Where did he give the place? Now this is what Leibel told me. He said he's going to promise the Rebbe, I'm going to give the best place for the Yossidim in Israel. He decided he's going to give a place for the Chassidim up in Sfas, in the Garelik, Sfas. Chassidim were not happy. Shimon is the author. So he says, I told you this. So he said, he gave it Sfas. The Chassidim were not happy. But this is what Shazar said. So when Leibel came in Tovshin Ches, by Danchik, the ganze Knackel of the Chassidim, he says to Leibel, we have to do something. I myself, I know Shazar very well, but you have the Breitkeit, you have the Starkheit. Come with me, and we'll ask a different place. In my Danchik, who knew he was very friendly with Shazar, he couldn't do it himself, he said, Leibel, but Abba Mr. Nefesh, a starke Mensch, Leib Kari, come with me and let's persuade Shazar to give a different place. And what do you think? Leibel went by Danchik to Shazar, and then he got Kfar Chabad. So Leibel not only went to the people of Kfar Chabad. Who made Kfar Chabad? In Kfar Chabad, Leibel Mochkin. So this is when the Mochkin will ask, Kfar Chabad, Paris, Berlin, it doesn't label much, but let me just finish it off. There are many stories about the Holocaust. And other many stories, many movies. All kinds of movies about the Holocaust. There are also stories about myself and a movie producer of NBC heard the tapes about my stories, what I went through, the 6 different death camps, heard the tapes, calls me up. He says he wants to make a movie about my stories. So I tell him, what's so special in my stories more than any other movies? Because everybody emphasizes in the Shoah, the terror of the Shoah, 6 million Jews, always the negative, the suffering. You always emphasize the bitochen, the amunah, mesiras nefesh. So therefore you already made that script, we have the script already, but anyways, I want to suggest, it can from the Ebeka Boche from Russia, for these 3 articles can be expanded, made a most beautiful, beautiful movie. How have you seen 200 nefoshes came out from Russia with the Mesiras Nefesh, with the Tmoyedike, when the Rabbi called the Leib Ari. Mendel was said, no, let's not go out. And even Yoeli Khan also said no. Who took it from him? The Achrayas to take out 300 Yidden, the Foshes, Mamish Sakos, the Foshes, was only the Koyach from Leibel Mochkin. So we're such a, for these 3 articles, read it through, a Moridike Bitochen and Amuna in Mesiras Nefesh and Mal completely harmless echo. When this can be made, Shimon, Hashem will help you with financially also, make a movie from your father. It will be a hit parade, yes, I can assure you. And not only it costs you money, eventually make a money. It's like Kiddush Hashem. So let me just finish. Today is the 30th day, I did some Shammers or something. I was going to Shammers for the scholars side, for the Motteleh, for the Kinder, for the Edikler, for the Zayn, called to sell or receive for everyone.
Amen.
None.
Thank you very much, Mangel. I hope Pastor continue to inspire the junge Leib, the alte Leib. Haben wir zusammen. Danke. All the interactions, all the many Farbrengens together. The Zayda was very, very meyakir, the Farbrengens and the Shabboses and the Kiddushim. And growing up, I would always see my grandfather looking at the Sipurei Chassidim and andere Meises and Amol, and he had a tremendous chavivus for the Sipurim and the Divrei Torah and the different Yehudas of Idud in the Shul. So Daka Gresi Ashikoya for all the years. When we moved in on our block, there was a guy that I should live and be well. Our Shochem, the Benzin Friedman. So when we moved in, he said every morning we say, as Rosaina, he says, Shochem Toiv, what's the big deal? It's a few dollars. You find a nice man, and then you buy a house next to him, so you have a Shochem Toiv. So he says, a Shochem Toiv means that you should be the Shochem Toiv. So, Baruch Hashem, we have the schus to have another special Yid on our block, who also had a connection with the Zayda for many years. And the Yid is also Margaret's Torah, and is Mechazek, the younger light, and the elder light, learning, and Shiurim, and so on and so forth. So we'd like to ask Rabbi Gurary, Zogan Echad, Apar Werter, the Kodesh and Zayda.
What is the difference between today
I pulled out a wisdom just not long ago. I hope he pulled out only the truth and the wisdom was left. There is something. Yeah. Shimon, we couldn't. It's about myself and talking about myself. Myself and talking in meinem Bleiband. Aber ich zu ihm als Efer, die wir ja jungen, die steht hier, es wird noch sein. Als ich weiß, ich bin als Efer verwehrt, ich baue dann als Efer das Bild des Pferdes. So meistens ist plenty gefallen. By the way, hier allein, bin gewinn einer von den Schirres Afrika von die Atalonen. Ich bin nicht geworden in einer von die Atalonen. Ich wurde meine Mutter oder schon, Leibel hat mir allemaal zo'n bijkomstjoerheid. Maar bij alle activiteiten die gaan spelen van een baas. Maar hier gaat vloeien. Dat is weer een ander monster. En als je al wat ik gedenk heb voor, die ik heb gevonden. Ja, maar wie zal neer gaan worden? En ik voor, die in Shalom. Een aan mijn zoon komt zum Garelik. Dat is zo neer als Leib gefragt, die zo neer. Zo'n meer zo neer, wie hoeft het meer. I should remember. But they're still over there like, the patient is one day.
What?
Dat is een heel ik geloof, Islam komen naar Shloshim. Die geboren zo.
Microphone a little closer.
Wenn ze nog daar. Geboren zo. Als aan de lust apporteren, af aan elk nieuw, die dat kon in hoog, de rebellische leeuw neemt die term, en zählt sie über, und legt es auch weg in sein Treasure in der Park. Und legt es auch weg, weiß genauso, was tut er mit Israel. In der Mainz ist also, haben wir Lust apporteren, da wissen sie, dass wir Krokodil-Tiers, oder sind etwas herabgekommen auf der Peel da, wir kommen zusammen auf der Samen 7, dann so sagen wir, ja, heute in der Liebe, zählt mir lieber und mit dem, was ist dann später, die Results. Steht, Leute am Melch, wird umgesagt zum Tag, zum Such. Und nicht die Heile, wird der Kolhoretz, mein Kind, der Mendel zu sein. Wie gesagt, wie ich soll ich. Look, I'm then not some safer. Ach, sieh dich gedacht. Kohl's Mama ist da, ist mein Name Halle. Kehrt die Welt. Ich noch einmal vermachte Hegen. In der Farbe Lifter, sagt man, wie nur Bischol. Nicht Bischol. Der hat mitgenommen, Leibel hat mitgenommen, schwere Suitcases mit Maxim Tevin. Aber dort immer vermacht Hegen, wird man erinnert. Als man mir lebt, ist man am Behalten. Noch dort am Behalten. Mein Kind, du willst, dass dort soll sein am Behalten? Und nicht die Heiler bei der Kolore? It's up to you. Aber du wirst ein Mamschir sein. Wie gesagt, wie hieß oder ich, machst du mir doch ein paar Mal. Ihr gehört das auch meistens, und ihr noch Herren meistens. Und sie sagt, es ist am Ende schicken auch meistens. Aber da kann auch kommen nach Fehl. Wachait in der Leib. Will auch Israel sagen, für den Sirus Nefesh, seine meisten Tevin, und Mamschir sein dort. Und hört so mir auch, weil seine Keres am Weiß, und der Volksstehen, die letzte Mischne reine Schlicht, die letzte Mischne von Schaß. So habe ich Schuhe beim Leben. Ossi Rakon im Bohu, verjährt Zadig und Zadig. Zadig und Zadig. Mit der Geld 310 Elul. so forth. Before real estate here, there in the 310 elements. Wat dat ungefähr war, Rabbi, sehr viel. Was wird getan? Das erzählen wir nicht sie. Aber was ist der Heim der Chido? Der Chido sagt, was ist der Heim von der 310? Sie fragen Tarjag Mitzvahs. Und sein Mitzvahs der Rabbono. Zusammen in 620 Pillars of Life. Tarach Hamudeh. Sagt der Chido. Fein, schön, aber das ist ein Generous. Theo sagt mir dabei. Zadig wie Zadig. Jeder Zadig wird ein Zadiges werden sein. Sie gewinnen ja gehört einmal, aber Melech Mochkin. Ja gehört einmal. Und die Leib mal für die Arroyes. Ich sage einfach, vergessen wie sie gehst. Was ihm gesagt, aber Melech. Du bist doch klein, du bist hinten doch nicht miserlich am Leben. Du lernst und du tanzt, du bist doch gewaltig so. Was ist da mit mir? Nach mir vergangen zu vergessen. So, zu mir. Ich vergessen wollen, sorry. 50-50. 50-50. Ja, das ist ein guter Mann. Wo sie hoch, teile doch mit dir. Das sagt die Mischne. Ossi lakos in Bochul, Angel, levol Zadig für Zadig. Wir forschen so, Zadig Gombo, Zadig Schene Gombo. Der Kinder sagt, Zadig bin ich Zadiges. Heute lasse ich meine Themen, sie hat auch Heilig in der. Von Zadig für Zadig. L'Angel, ich habe Jesch. Von meine gute Feind, der gern Jesch. Wie soll ich sehen, muss ich Reize, aber ich bin doch ein Reize. Wie soll ich sehen, Mama? Wir willen soll sein, ein guter Better, von Levi, und die Kinder, und die Kohlmames, und wir alle sicher sein, sind die Gule Schlinge, Alpino, Rosheno, wie Kitzu, wir alle Moschir mit Ofo, Leibel betekenen.
Amen.
Der Gurary, der Mangel jetzt, I'm just remembering, I don't know why, it just came to mind. I was sitting once by a Fabrain with Rabbi Shimon Feldman. And he was describing his bar mitzvah. And he said, was, my bar mitzvah? Shabbos in Shul, mit ein bisschen Hering, hat gemacht auf Fabrain. That was it. So someone said to him, wedding event, or who was there? So Nissan at Fadra, Dr. Werner, the Leibel Mochkin. He didn't remember anybody else. He remembered that those two people were there. And the staff was gesagt früher, as a chayes. So, yet all of us, all those impressions and all the energy, Shetaka Deva Chayit and Leibel. And now, I'd like to ask my Vetter Mendel to share a few words. I remember by Lady Mochkin, my brother's Uflu, Avram Hashem got off to speak. He started off the speech as I may be a short person, it's going to be a long speech. By me, it's going to be the exact opposite. Okay, I may be a long person, but it's going to be a short speech. And especially after such legendary speakers, then it's hard to emulate such people, but we're going to try to connect all the people that spoke tonight. So, Chayit as Levi, growing up with my father, especially being the youngest, it was hard, it took a while to appreciate who I was dealing with. I was an American boy, but the more, and I always thought, we heard the stories, we grew up with the stories of Russia, about the Mesiras Nefesh, But I always thought, okay, it's a little bit of an exaggeration. I mean, there's things happening, but the more I get into it, the older I get, the more I realize that not only was it not exaggerated, but it's not known. It's even to me, it's not known, because the more you get into it, and the more you speak to people, and you see from other people, and it's just a tremendous thing, and it started me wondering, like, who is this person, and how is he able to function, and how is he able to be who he was? And you realize that, what motivated this person, the outstanding character of my father, was he was pashut without fear. The man had no fear. He was fearless. He had no fear. He did not fear the government. He did not fear himself. People, we grow up, our behavior is dictated by fear. Some people fear their wives, some people fear their children, some people fear their parents, some people fear what other people are going to say about it. Everything, most of our behavior is governed by fear. This man had no fear. He had no fear of himself. He had no fear of what people are going to say. He had no fear. He focused on doing the right thing and doing it the best way he can with all his strength. And this is remarkable because you don't find people like this. Because when people discover that they have no fear, usually they join the mafia. That's who they are. People who are the mafia. Mafia people that have no fear. So what was different about this person and about other people is when they discover this quality that they have no fear, most people use it for selfish reasons. And my father, he used it for others. He didn't understand the word selfish. It was not in his dictionary. And you see it, Pasha, in today's Tanya. Today's Tanya is so clearly, my father, it's like overwhelming. You talk about how did he function, my mother says, when my mother went out of Russia, but she went out with quote unquote legitimate papers. Even the people that went out with legitimate papers, it was pachad mogas, you couldn't move. It was paralyzing fear. You couldn't leave. The concept of leaving Russia was unattainable. And so when they were in the train, they froze up. How did this person function? And so the explanation is in today's Tanya. Because in today's Tanya it talks about that how do you overcome fear is by chesed. Because Vayipach Ba'apav Nishmas Chaim, and the deepest part of the Vayipach Ba'apav is from the chesed of the Eishtem, and that is a way that overcomes the fear. This overcomes the fear of yourself, and this overcomes the overcomes the midas hadin, the gvura, which is the source of yira. And so through his chesed, through his overwhelming chesed, he was able to overcome whatever fear that society placed on you, whether it was from the Medina or from others. And so this is something that we need to take forward with us, that we have to focus on what the right thing is and do it without fear. And to me, it was illustrated. I said the story several times during the shiva, but you think about it, it's just insane. He walks into my house one day. I just had Peretz. Peretz was 3 months old. Avram was a year and a half. And this is a week after Shavuos. He walks into my house and he says, Mendel, we gave that ticket again in Eretz Yisrael. I said, what are you doing in Eretz Yisrael? He said, again in Gush Katif, again in Eretz Yisrael. And he was 80 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, where are you going? I can't leave. I have 2 kids under the age of 2. I haven't slept in 3 months. What are you talking about? And he's insisting that we go, and I said, you're 80 years old. Where? Who? What? There's a blockade. You can't go. You have to walk 20 miles. He didn't hear what I had to say. He took off. Now, it wasn't a Chabad project. He wasn't representing anybody. Nobody asked him to come. Nothing to do with Chabad. He didn't raise any money for it. He didn't call an asifah. He picked himself up with his own money and he went to Gush Katif. And he was sitting there, and for a month, he started by bringing every single day and push it, raising up the spirits of these people. And I heard from many people after that, it was just tremendous. And what possesses a person at 80 years old to have such drive? I mean, to us when we were growing up, this was a given. But you look around and you see other people, this is not a given. This is amazing. And this was nothing to do with Chabad, because Chabad had no role. This was Pashut Yidden that were being thrown out of their homes. It moved them to a point where he gets on a plane and he goes there and he tries to, and he was certain that it's not going to happen. And like he said, the Chabigi guy is Stalin, we're going to stop Shalom too. It's not a problem. There was no such thing by him impossible. When you said something impossible, that's when he started. That's when he got going. And this is something that we should take with us, and we should continue with us. And the Hayit and Stiba. So getting to the next idea is that we're working on, as a mishpacha, we're going to take upon us a project that is going to hopefully inculcate this idea into young Bachers. Okay? There's a gentleman over here by the name of Rabbi Mendy and he established something called Young Jewish Leaders. Young Jewish Leaders is an idea, it's a fantastic idea. So we all went on Miftzayim as Bachrim, as kids. We went Friday afternoon, we used to go, but by us it was a balagan. It was a balagan. We used to be able to, you have to do everything yourself, and today they have security. After September 11th, you can't get into buildings. So Rabbi Mendy established a project called Young Jewish Leaders that provides support and assistance to the Bachrim. He makes the routes. He gives them ideas of how to get into the buildings. And the idea that he came up with, a beautiful idea, is that each Bacher has a challah. And the challah, with this idea, you're giving a gift to the person. You're not going to bother the person to put on film. You're going to give the guy a challah. So automatically, it's a whole different conversation. And this idea enables and empowers these Bachrim, these young Bachrim, to first of all feel good in their self-esteem, and to start them out on the concept of shlichus, on being an ambassador of whatever, of doing Miftzayim. They have to formulate the Vatera, and it focuses them on what's the right thing on Friday afternoon. And so, as a family, that's why I included in the back of the Shura, as a family, we're going to take this mitzvah on as a project in honor of my father, hopefully this will be my mission. I just want to point out one more thing that's in the Shura. So, as part of my doing the research of my father and putting together some material, I came across a lot of stuff. My father never had, he had a list from memory, but it was very elusive of where would the complete list of people that came out of Russia and that he was able to take out. So there was 5 trains that left, 5 echelons. The biggest one was 800, that was Heskis, but there was 5 of them. Total amount of people that left were about 12 to 1,300 people. Not everybody had false passports on them. The real passports, because my father explained to me that even the ones that went with the real passports, there was no such thing. They needed assistance to get through the border. The trains didn't work otherwise. There was a whole infrastructure going on, which Mr. Shem will be delineated in the book. But one of the things I found was interesting, which never occurred to me before, is that so I discovered a list of names of people on the Joint website. How did I get to the Joint? Because basically the Shah and the Free Together, they had a relationship with the Joint going back to the 1920s. So when they heard it, now the Joint was very active in refugee relief in Europe after World War II. The primary objective was to be involved with the Holocaust survivors and to support them in their resettlement. So in 1946, in the end of 1946, when they started, in New York, they started hearing about people coming out of Russia. So they right away ran to the joint to try to get assistance. At that time, I think the joint was sending to Hungary $450,000 a month in support. It was some crazy numbers. So now they had a relationship, but they were getting small money. So through my father's ability, through the whole Yitzhak Russia, the Frierdiker Rebbe and the Rashad and later the Rebbe were able to really broaden their relationship with the joint and to really get a lot of money that really assisted the establishment of a lot of the mezders that we have today in the United States as well as in Europe. The Yeshiva of Rouen, eventually there was established that they had a monthly stipend from the Yeshiva. So this was an unintended consequence, but it was a major consequence. But at that time, in 1945, 46, 47, there was no Lubavitch, there was no money, there was no Balabash, there was nothing. There was literally nothing. There was a Rebbe and a couple of Chassidim. There was nothing going on. And really, the biggest Balabash of Lubavitch at that time was the joint. And so it was an unintended consequence for my father's behavior, actions, but through being able to him taking out the Yidden from Russia, he gave the Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, and later the Rebbe, the abilities to really build a lot of institutions and Lubavitch that we know today. I'd like to conclude this program by introducing Rabbi and asking Rabbi Mendy Wolf to discuss briefly this program of the Tefillin that the boys are doing on Friday, and we hope that you can join us in honoring my father's memory and sponsoring and helping us doing the wonderful work that we're doing with these books. Thank you very much, and thank you again, everybody. Mendy Wolf, thank you.
Explain short.
In short, I'm listening to all the stories of Leib Mochkin. In short, the Mivtzoyim initiative is essentially making and embedding in the Bachrim the same Starkheit and Stolzkeit that you heard in all these stories. Going into a building in Manhattan today, so you have security, you can't get in. Stolzkeit dahin, Stolzkeit daher, you've got to find a way to get in. So the Bachrim have the Eidus Torah, and they have technically inside of them the ability, but you just have to show them through a few different tricks how to get in, and you have to push train them. So I'm going to share with you a story. The way I see it, it's very simple. A Bacher has in him, it's like a nuclear bomb. A Bacher has the most tmimistic ability to impact someone that no one has. When a Bacher, 13-year-old Bacher walks into an office, no one can do what he can do. When he walks over to the guy sitting over there, the ganze Yetzer Madam, and he tells him a pshitas, Bacher, put on tefillin, he doesn't know what to answer. And when he tells him go out, he doesn't know what go out means. Didn't we say you're putting on tefillin? So you have to get the Bacher into the office. That's all you have to do. But you have to get the Bacher into the office. I'll share with you a little story. There was someone from Anash, and I heard what the Bacher are doing. So he said, here, I'm going to give you a name. Let's see if you can get this person. It's a secure building, you can't get in. Secure means security in the front needs to have your name at the desk before you can walk up. How are you going to get in? So I called up this gentleman. He said, don't tell him that I sent you. Just call him. I'm giving you a yid. We called him up. We called from downstairs. And we say, I have a challah for you. Who are you? I'm Mendy Wolf. Who sent you? YJO. How'd you get me? Someone loves you and sent you a challah. As far as he's concerned, it could be a good client of his. That makes him garnished. So he has to come now. So he says, okay, I'm coming down. I'm coming to get the challah. The Bible, he gets to see a 13-year-old Bacher was now going to have face contact with the Nayid. He sits down in front of him. It was beautiful. So this person also had Stolzkeit. So he comes and says, Bacher, who are you? So he says, I come from the yeshiva and I want to put on tefillin. He says, what's today's parsha? So the Bible was Vayikra. So he tells him it's about sacrifices. He didn't like it. He says, how is this relevant in life? So the Bacher used the ACs of a 13-year-old. and it was beautiful. Turns around to me, he says, hands up to. Everybody in life has animals in their head. We all have different animals in our head. And we have to sacrifice them. And that's what Vayikra is all about. We have to sacrifice the animals in our head. The person had a smile from ear to ear. It wasn't a polished speech, but it hit its mark. And that's it. That challah went to me. Puts on tefillin. There's animals in the head. You just need to empower the Bachrim to get it. Baruch Hashem, let me just give you numbers. The past years we had 45 routes, brand new routes, people that were never visited. Over 1,000 people that were never visited in the most secure buildings. Every year we're doubling it. 2 years ago when I started, I came to Motteleh and I told them I'm looking to create 300 routes. Give me 3 years. Give me 3 years, and I'm going to find someone at Nash who's going to fund this. How, what, when, I don't know, but it's going to happen. I was convinced that if someone at Nash is going to realize that you have here a community of the most amount of Bachmar and Crown Heights. You have 770, you have Zal, you have about Shiri, you have Motteleh, you have 6th, 7th, 8th. I always match a 6th grader together with a Zal Bachar, so there's always the energy of the Zal going into the 6th grader, and they come together. It's beautiful when it binds together. And Motteleh says, okay, we're going to give you 3 years. By year 2, I hit the numbers of year 3. I thought I'm only going to have 20 routes. My expenses would only be 40,000. But by the end of year 2, I know I need to find someone. I looked through the parents, and I said, who am I going to reach out to who can be an ambassador to find some parents to get involved? I can do this. And I realized there were 2 parents. There was someone who went on Mivtzoyim on Purim, one of the Anash, from the roots. He decided he's going to go on Mivtzoyim on Purim. And there were one of the parents that decided to actually take challah and give it out. So I said, I'm going to reach out. And I reached out to Mendel. And when I sat with him and I explained to him what's going on, he said it was the same time of the Ptira. And he said this is exactly what my father was all about. The Bachrim, the takeover of the Bachrim, pushing through, being able not to be in a stall. And so he took upon himself this project. I just want to turn to everybody here. This is not a project. This is Pashin empowering Bachrim to be able to take Stolz. At the end of the day, Abraham, and he was in Westchester, and he saw a bunch of Bachrim in the park, a bunch of Fry people. He turns around to them, and he tells them, anybody here Jewish? And they all turned to one boy playing basketball, and they said, he's Jewish. And so the boy playing basketball wanted to put on tefillin for the whole park. So he challenged him. He says, if I play you one-on-one and I win, put on tefillin? And the boy said, yes. He played him one-on-one, he won. The guy put on tefillin, and the other guys in the park put on tefillin. The boy is Avram, and you can ask him, I'm sure it was a lot of the titzah of his ability of not being nispol. And for me, that's a simon that a bacher does things on his own. He's not nispol. He goes, he's on the offensive and not on the defensive. Yasher Koyach.
Before we show the video, and to conclude, I'll ask Dr. Shimon to say a few words.
I wasn't planning to say anything, but while I was sitting here listening to all the speakers, I still felt I had to say a few words just for my father. Because the moment when you was talking about Russia and the whole Stalin business and everything, so you said they can't see it from the Stalin, so why is this much afraid you can have you they Stamos? So the fact he never said about this, about geschuldigt in das, aber was käme ich da wegen? So I was thinking about myself. I would never choose that to be so physically and basically have this opportunity, this mitzvah, keep it off, aim to spend so much time with my father the past several years. That I wouldn't choose it, but now that I had the opportunity, I would never give it away because the people that I spoke to when I had these events, so the mitzvah is overwhelming, and the schafort is overwhelming, and maybe because I had the opportunity. I also want to mention one or two things about my father that I saw through the years when I used to travel with him, and he's speaking to him. Just like, as I was home with my mother Shabbos morning, and wie sie gewinnt, sie gewinnt die Tiere. I mean, until today, it hasn't even hit me yet. It was like it didn't happen. It was so calm. Sie gewinnt eine gewisse, sie gewinnt eine Ruhigkeit im Stuhl. Sie gewinnt eine gewisse Sache, was ist, mir setzt es nicht am Bechlau, Menschen denken geworden, es ist eine Gerude. Menschen gehen weg, es ist eine Gerude. Es ist nicht eine Gerude, sie gewinnt Stuhl, sie gewinnt 5 Kapelle, wird gelebt. Sie gewinnt nicht gewinnt, sie gewinnt manchmal heblich wie es darf sein. It was, so I was thinking to myself, wer ist gewinnt der Mensch? Der Porsche nicht mehr, gewinnt eine Zeit der Gomme. Wer geht der weg, I say? Sie gewinnt Porsche dann, I miss es nicht schicken. That Mangel said in the Shul, we was talking about it in the past few weeks by the Kedushin, besteht es vor allem, ein Mensch geht weg, ist von jeder, ist ein Mensch, von jeder, sie von einer gewissen Sache. Sie kann nicht gewähnen. Der Mensch ist Porsche gewähnt mit der Schmeichel. So, the most only, I'm not going to say a story, but the months was I mentioned to them, Sunday Gomer. Es came nicht mehr an. Allemaal gewinnt ein junger Mensch. Und ich sagte mir, wir setzen Schiffe, wir sind gefahren in Miami, I didn't have Georgia. We went to Miami about 7, 8 years ago. So we get into the line, make a long story short, Leib, wo ist dein Passport? Du sagst hier mit dem Passport, was willst du mit mir? So he looks at my mother and says, you took my passport, what do you want from me? The mom says, name, basically something, you don't know we need a passport when you travel? So, okay, fine, he goes through his wallet, gives a look, oh, he has some ID. He takes out a student card, and he gives it to the TSA guy. The guy looks at him, he has a picture on it, he made it by flash photo. He went with the Bachrin. He was then in Yeshiva, that's how I'm going to get to the next thing. And he shows him that he has an ID. Because he looks, student, you student? My father tells him back, I'm with the boys. You want to talk? You've been with the Bachrin. He says, I'm with the boys. The guy said, you're the boys, you're with the boys? Go ahead. And he let him through. He was young. He had a student card in his wallet. Why did he have a student card? Because we want to mention also that when he started in the beginning, when he was saying, the kids, I'm not going to ask him, when there was a time in time that him that things weren't going so well, was 15, 20 years ago, it's a glad genommen to them, make sure that the Bachman had what to eat, make sure that the Mashkiach came and the Mashkiachim came, when they totally returned 14, 14, so we want to bring that up. We want to also mention everything that he did for the Iranians when they came and they needed food, which went basically about in Motteleh. So it's nicht mehr stark zu sagen, kenne ich. I never saw the guy go to sleep. I never saw him down in the house. He always ran out of the house with a million. So what do I want to say? That the men, I'm telling you, I saw him the last 10 years on a daily basis, and I didn't make an alter mensch. He was always doing everything with so much energy till the last day. So es ist eine gute Werte für uns, für die ganze Mischproche, es ist ein Message für meine Mama, für die Kinder, für die Enikla, für die Urenikla. Und Leib ist ein Hauptentag, ein positive. Mangel said it, he said it nonchalantly by the Fabrik the first week, the next Shabbos, he said, als werden getummelt dort, dorten. Und dort tummelt auf ein von uns, was, und ich habe gesagt, meine Brüder, meine Schwester, Herr, Tate, he wanted to do everything for his kids. There was nothing he wouldn't do. But he had his limitations. Limitations of language, limitations of other things. He couldn't express himself, even though he could express himself tremendously. Now he doesn't have the limitations of a body. He doesn't have a good gosh limitations. The baseball second for done. All we have to do is be positive. All I have to do is be positive. I heard it the other day. Mit Garelik and jeden from Mitzrayim, and I got into songs, when I got to the and they go, yeah, they bestimmt that my piece of this conference with our mates, just our base of being positive. Mit doch gesehen, the Tate gerufen mit der Kopfgaschni. Doch gesehen, he kept that up. Could you imagine what he could do with no limitations? Leib ist helfen, und es wird sicher sein, eine Meditation für uns, für die ganze Mischproche. And I'm going to finish with this. One guy said a good thing, but he says, I'm telling you, your father is going to make a train from Gan Eden. He's going to put the egg in the train, and he's going to put all the Rabbi in the train. He's going to bring it to Kingston Parkway, and this is going to be the ultimate shalom. Maybe it's the ultimate. I was like the better for the country of Shloshim. This is the Mamat of Gashmi. Who will say them?
what's with the video? What's with the video?
Quick video presentation. The lights on top of you.
Hold the video. Take this and... You're taking too long. It's fine. No, it's still going.